What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Liberty Libations number 108. Sorry, don't have the overlay on. There we go. My name is Jake Green, joined as usual by Alden, Hardee, and Nick Ciesielski. Tonight's special guest is Kevin Leatherbarrow. He is one of the leads on the Cascade Effect, which is the biggest show on Peaceful Ski Network. We've had some interesting news this week that we'll discuss this episode, and we'll get right to that. But Kevin, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Kevin Leatherbarrow. I live here in Great Falls, Montana. What do I do? Well, if I had a choice, I'd fish all the time.
Good answer.
Yeah, I've been a teacher. She's about a teacher in the last 20 some years. I've been an educator. Just one of your guys that just wanted to move to Montana and just fish and just keep my nose out of trouble.
Heck yeah.
That's me.
Love it. Love it. All right, Alden, you're drinking nothing because it's still January. Is it just water?
Non-alcoholic Guinness again.
There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
that works. Nick,
It's the
what
best
are you
alternative.
drinking?
Yeah.
I have some ginger ale because I'm still getting over that cold a little bit.
Everyone's been
I
sick.
still have a cough and stuff, so I'm still taking cough medicine, so I'm not drinking on that.
But can we agree that the combination of cough medicine and alcohol is like the best combination there is?
Oh, what a
You want to
buzz.
see tracers, yeah.
What a buzz.
So,
Kevin, are you drinking?
did anyone's sound just get really weird on them?
I
Yeah,
always
I think
have
that's you.
coffee. Yeah, if anybody you'll never catch me without a mug in my hand of coffee.
Yeah.
I drink it like it comes from the old nursing days.
Perfect.
Delicious.
All right, y'all. Well, before we get started, this show is Grumpy says he's drinking Irish coffee. So there we go.
Nice.
Before we get started, this show is brought to you by Rabbit Eye Wine. Go get yourself a bottle of Rabbit Eye Wine. Absolutely delicious. It's made in Georgia. It is blueberry wine, and they've been sponsoring the show for about 7 months now. And I think it's time we get another case of wine.
There's still one left I gotta try. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can, if you don't live in the state of Georgia, you can order it online. If you do live in the state of Georgia, you can go to your local package store and pick one up, and it's absolutely delicious. Also, go on over to peacefulsea.network, check out our shows, check out our Dollar Media Club membership. You get access to a whole bunch of different things, including documentaries, movies, subscriber-only shows, discounts on merch, access to the Discord. So head on over to peacefulsea.network, and we're going to talk about that a lot later on in the episode when we talk about the Cascade Effect. Yeah. What's up, Nick?
Also maybe some cool new shows coming up soon.
Maybe some cool new shows coming up soon, according to Nick.
Cool
yeah?
shows.
News.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Nick, if it's a nude show, I'm totally on board with it.
I mean, I don't know. We get some OnlyFans going, I guess.
The other night on Swampcast, I was on Swampcast with Tim and Josh and the guys, and they said they should do a like a simulcast for OnlyFans, because everybody was how we are now, just like basically waist up, and they should do a simulcast that's just waist down.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I
Waist
laughed
down,
my,
no
oh,
pants.
yeah, I laughed my butt off. Yeah. So I just so happened. I think Lou sent me the link to you. You had it on.
Yeah.
Right. So and then I caught all that. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Those guys are funny. If you want some more libertarian content, go check out Swampcast. Those guys are awesome.
Oh man, they were dissing so bad. I mean, I was laughing because of the cats. They were, you go see it. It'll get you laughing.
Yeah, they made us laugh around the subject of the Cascade Effect, which is a super serious show, and
Right.
we're cracking up. So
I'll be on with those guys on the Swampcast later on this month. So
nice. All
I'll
right.
be helping on too.
All right, y'all. Well, we got two topics before we get to the Cascade Effect, and we're going to spend most of the time talking about the Cascade Effect, specifically because of what happened this past Monday. So, first topic of the night. Let me get it where it's on screen. There we go. First topic of the night. In 2016, a 28-year-old actor went to Comet Ping Pong to investigate Pizzagate, fired a bullet that hit their computer system, was sentenced to 4 years by Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Now he was fatally shot during a traffic stop and died 2 days later. Nick, you're the one who brought this story to us. You want to talk about it for a minute? Just remind people what Pizzagate is.
Right. So Pizzagate was one of those things that came to light in from the Hillary Clinton email leaks on WikiLeaks, where for some reason John Podesta, who was her campaign manager, was talking in a bunch of coded language. Right? They were talking about having hot dogs delivered to the White House or a bunch of pizza delivered to the White House, this and that.
Okay.
And it, kind of aligned with this the idea that, hey, this is coded words for child, trafficking, more or less.
Whoa.
I'm trying to watch what I say about it on YouTube because
I was wondering if you were trying to.
Because I don't want to get into that, but yeah, basically, so the internet said, hey, this looks like this. There were claims at the time that the FBI had a document with all these as like known terms. I'm not sure what the veracity of that is. But yeah,
terms,
so
like they had the Rosetta Stone for Pizzagate language or something.
Yeah, like this was common language in those circles or something. I don't know if that was true stuff or not, but
what's
so
cupping pepperoni mean?
I couldn't tell you. This was 2016. So, but we know. Somehow this Comet Ping Pong, which is like a kid's pizza place with ping pong tables and games and whatever.
Yeah.
So there were rumors that in the basement of this place was kind of the epicenter of this trafficking ring, because for some reason this random pizza place that kind of catered to kids and games and whatever was getting the attention of these big political figures, which don't seem to be the kind of people to be in that kind of place. And then there were some weird pictures on their Instagram, on their social media and stuff like that kind of also fed into that loop. And so this guy went in there with a rifle, I believe, and fired a shot off, demanding to see the basement. The claim is there's no basement there. They tried to claim there's no basement. The plans don't show a basement. I haven't seen those, so I can't tell you, but those are the claims. And so, yeah, he got arrested for that. I find it incredibly interesting that it was Ketanji Brown Jackson who was the judge that sentenced him. I did not realize that. Maybe I did know at some point that it was brought up. Maybe it was brought up during her confirmation at one point, but I don't remember that. It's not a detail that stuck with me, so I found that incredibly interesting. And then, so he's out and gets shot at a traffic stop by cops.
Yep. Pizzagate gunman killed by police in North Carolina.
What?
Yeah, man who fired a gun inside a restaurant in the nation's capital after they make it in the nation's capital. They make it sound like it was in the Capitol building, which is
they are doing that as like defamation to try to make him look like
a wild madman.
As if like
in the whole city
gun incidents don't happen in Washington D.C. Let's see. After a fake online conspiracy theory called Pizzagate motivated him to do so nearly a decade ago, was shot and killed by North Carolina police during a weekend traffic stop. Let's see. One of the officers recognized the car as the vehicle of someone he had arrested and who had an outstanding warrant for felony probation violation. What else did they say? Come on. Don't pop up. Let's see. I don't know.
Wait, did he fire off the round in the restaurant a decade ago, or is this just about the events a decade ago? Okay.
Oh
no, this is apparently separate. I think, unless the probation violation was related, but
it shouldn't have been at the time. He pled guilty in 2017. Sentenced him to 4 years in prison, so he got out in 2021, and this is it's 2025 now. So
right.
I don't think he would have had. Do they give probation sentences that long, like 4 years?
They can.
I don't
They
know.
can. Okay.
Oh, they judge can order whatever. In this day and age, man, the judge can order anytime.
Interesting.
I'm
But I
proud
have-
to say I'm not that familiar with it. So.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm studying. I know. Disclaimer: we just study law. All right. Only as a kid was I ever got in trouble and got thrown. Come pick me up. I never want to see it again. All right.
I got in trouble as a teenager for stealing chapstick once, and it scared me straight.
Kind of like those situations. Mine was a little different, but it's cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
So this was a 2017.
Did
he transported firearms over state lines?
What did he do?
Right.
Was that 2000? He got sentenced in 2017. It was in.
Why did he cop
It was
the
in
charges
2016.
in the first
It was in 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
He cops charges.
He drove from North Carolina with an assault rifle to Comet Ping Pong restaurant in Washington, D.C.
Okay, and then they say he did something in that restaurant with his.
He shot the
weapon?
gun, which hit a cash register. Not a person, just a machine. Which you shouldn't fire a gun inside, but still.
Well, it's debatable. Shit is totally debatable. Okay. All right. I was just wondering. So then they spun around on this guy, and just because they noticed the vehicle and did a traffic stop.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
Okay.
Like,
That's
why
what I was
didn't you
gonna
traffic
ask is,
stop?
What was the traffic stop about? Was it targeted at him, or was it he funneled through where they were doing a stop for many people? Or
Listen,
sounds like they said that they noticed the car in the article and thought it.
Well, so he was a passenger.
That's
He was a passenger in the vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the owner of the vehicle was somebody, I guess, that the officer recognized, which is strange.
Which is strange. Okay.
So
that puts it even more. Why would they pull this vehicle over? Does this driver have any charges on him prior where they would recognize him?
It is weird. They don't ever say what they pulled them over for.
Right.
I don't know if there is a reason that if you're not naming it, it sounds like it's not for speeding or some other like known violation or something.
Right. Yeah. They would say felony stop. They would say something like that if you had warrants or something.
Moving
right?
violation stop or some kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, but
sure. Okay. That just adds to your fishiness again. But then
if you're avoiding it, it sounds like that it's not a real reason. But
right. And I mean, I wouldn't put past it. They have facial recognitions in vehicles now. I wouldn't even put it past it. It's like
they do in Georgia.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Like
at the red light cameras and things like that, or
at the red light cameras,
other cameras as well.
That's why I left New York. I was like, you screw
James Dutton, the lawyer who has appeared on our show in the last episode and 2 episodes, he's fighting it in Georgia right now.
Oh,
nice.
Okay,
yeah,
good. He should.
Yeah, he's fighting all those camera laws. They're insane camera laws.
Zach's show with Elizabeth doing the Banish Big Brother. They talk about a lot of stuff like that. Like
yeah. Zach. That's another show on PCC Network, y'all. I mean, seriously, go check it out if you have any interest in like how
if your blood boils,
government is surveilling you at all times. Go check out Banish Big Brother because that thing goes into great detail about.
I prefer to stick my head in the sand.
I
pretend like they're not.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that.
Really fair.
But it was just a weird. This whole story is just a weird development on the Pizzagate story that was never really resolved. Like, this article calls it a fake conspiracy theory, which I don't really know how that's a good descriptor. Is it a conspiracy theory or is it not?
I think as times have gone on, even if the details of this one in particular are off, that the underlying concepts are playing out.
That's about what I was going to say too. Is that I'm not going to die on the Pizzagate specific hill, but in general, the concept of underage trafficking in situations, and it's very real. And
I really want you all to
plant
your flag on the Pizzagate hill and just die.
I don't know a ton about it because it just was something that was hard to get concrete evidence around, so I didn't dig in on that like I have with other things. But
I'm done with the word conspiracy. I mean, I think I'm in good company to say that we were 95%, maybe 2% right since the COVID ever hit, since anything else we started looking into.
Yeah.
Right. They were just 10 years ahead of us. And I'm so done with even saying, oh, yeah, you guys are conspiracies. We've been right.
Yeah.
Over and over
and over.
I actually am tired of being right. I'm
No
annoyed
shit.
at how right. God.
No, right. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
100%,
exhausting
man.
being right all the
It is
time.
exhausting.
And depressing.
So Nick, you're on to something. Get it, hound dog.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts on this one, Nick?
Nothing in particular. No, I just saw that and I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
what weird, because it's kind of the thing you forget about, and you find out, oh yeah, the guy who did this was killed by cops at a traffic stop, and it's like, huh.
How many people, like
to be
what
fair-
percentage of people are killed by cops in traffic stops? You know
Very,
what I mean? Like,
very low percentages.
yeah.
It's like a fraction of a percent.
Well, it doesn't say did he pull for a gun? Did they see a gun? I mean, what?
So let's
The driver
do the
had
opposite
a
side
gun.
for a second.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do the opposite side for a second. If this guy was unstable enough to go into an arcade and shoot and fire a gun, or a pizza place and fire a gun, then he might be unstable enough to do something crazy at a traffic stop. So they could have had a legitimate excuse.
That's fair.
But the fact that there's so few details in these articles. Yeah, exactly. So
I just don't understand why they're not pulling out the non-lethal. I mean, grab the shotgun, man. You'd have dropped him in a heartbeat. Or something. Try something else first.
100%.
Taser,
Taser, beanbag,
anything.
This feels like a parallel with the Cascade Effect story a little bit, with the not having the non-lethals presently.
Yeah. I mean, just because they're, people say they're criminals that had a past doesn't mean that they don't have rights. They don't have the right to not be shot and try the non-lethal first. Okay, please.
Yeah, having the option at least means that you're assuming someone is a criminal before a lot of times before you know if that's correct or not. Like,
exactly.
Yep. 100%. Yep. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like the lack of use of non-lethal weapons is really disturbing, because you don't, like, killing somebody should be the absolute last possible resort for you to exercise like that. They seem to do it very flippantly, or because they're all just cowards and scared of everything.
Well, I have a hypothesis about that. Like, so when Black Lives Matter was jumping all over it, I hung blue flags. I got family or law enforcement. I've got, legends of Buffalo Police Department and back in Buffalo, New York. So all the way up to all of that, I had, Back to Blue and all of this. I mean, I think we've legitimately seen, or they're giving us all of this stuff online to see cops doing this so we get mad at them or something, or the ones that they have never hooked in to get mad at them for what they are actually doing, or get upset or whichever else, a poke, if you will, at us citizens who were like, no, man, we did pack you. Do you understand that? Like, we were there with you for the longest time. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I think police I think in that culture, it's become, I mean, there's always been a crookedness to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Some places more than others, and some people more than others, but I think there's always been the turn a blind eye to it, or, don't make waves, just do your job. And now you've got body cameras. Everyone's carrying a phone on them with a camera at all times. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube of these police interactions where cops just start going off on people, or just really stupid things like, oh, you can't record here in a public building, and making arrests on that. Or there's one video that popped up scrolling around just the other day was this woman cop stopped a blind guy walking down the street because he had his cane in his back pocket, and she's like, "What do you have on you?" He's like, "It's my cane." And she tried to ID him, and he's like, I haven't broken a law. I'm going to keep going," and ended up arresting him.
Beat the shit out of some deaf guy. He was deaf. That was one of another recent ones too. He beat the guy, was signing to him and stuff, and they jumped him. And I mean, are we hiring police? No shit. You can look it up.
Oh my God.
The civil attorney. He does all of this stuff.
my gosh.
Follow him all the
Yeah.
time. It's helped me with the Cascade Effect, meaning I never talked to him, but I watched his cases. So I learned a lot of case law from his stuff. Yeah. So I mean, are these positions being filled so quickly since COVID and all of the walkout that we have now gotten no training, very little, and out they go.
And the type of people that left in the walkout, you have like a massive realignment, like a groupthink realignment now. And it's been one of the things that I've talked about before on this show even, and that was one of the, I think, biggest not talked about effects. And like, I would argue not even a side effect. I think this is kind of a social experiment to see how far we're willing to go and how much they're able to in police forces and fire departments and hospitals, and get people that are hive-minded and will just not ask questions and will just, do these types of things. And I think it's really dangerous to have all of one type of person. I don't care what, like race and gender and all that. It's like how you think. Like if how you think and feel and behave and perform your job is all very similar, then there's no one that's gonna provide any like questioning to that, what becomes status quo or norm there. And it's just,
but it is efficient.
It is very efficient.
Sure, yeah.
It's a very efficient. Yeah, I don't know if you want to get on, but I got one more. I have a New York City police buddy of mine, good friend of mine, who left after the BML riots and all of that stuff. Traumatic. I mean, he was just shy of his 20, and he started when he was 21 years old with the New York Police Department. And he left, and so did his unit and a bunch of his guys. They left too. And these guys are like, they couldn't do anything. They're traumatized. They were just left out to hang. Pensions. Yeah, sure. I'm sure that they did. That's what I get it. He had enough time. But how old are you now, Jake?
What year is it? 37.
Okay. He's about your age. He's going to be 39 here, and 20 and out. So he was pretty close, but they just signed off on these guys that wanted to leave the units, and they dropped like flies.
Yeah.
So now we have this big turnover of these, dumb kids. I mean, they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you see advertisements in Atlanta all the time, like billboards, just advertising. We pay great, and it's the Atlanta Police Department. It's like you're just bribing these people who have no skills and no possible reason to actually join the police except for the pay.
Right.
But that's also another thing, is that on the exams they do, it's possible to score too high on those exams, right? That's the thing that they found in places where if you score too high, they won't take you because because they, to some extent, they want order followers and not someone who's out there necessarily thinking through situations on their own.
I've actually had having a higher degree. I've actually had this experience where I have a master's degree and whatever else. I have two actually, but they wouldn't hire me and other of my colleagues too, because they want bachelor's degrees. They want ones that are lower. And this is even in the educational field. And they want the bachelor's first so they can take, so if I come to Montana and want my teacher's license, I have to retake their courses and go like $4,000 into debt, right? Go back to school. Right. It's a money game. You see what I'm saying? So, right. Nick, you're right on to something there, because we've actually experienced that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then also, you look at like Pittsburgh here, who Pittsburgh is understaffed in their police department, and last year they had a group of candidates, and a whole group of them just failed the I believe psychological exam.
Well, I never passed one of those.
And it was and because of disparate outcomes on that, racial disparities, whatever, they decided that the exam was done wrong, so they get to redo the exam. And guess what? They basically all passed.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Ironic.
It seems like they just got smarter overnight, Nick. That's what it seems like. It's better.
Or, I mean, if you fail a psychological examination for a job that is going to require high stress and high stress situations during during a during potential physical encounters,
Do I need to bring
emotional
up the
situations, and if there's anything off on your psychological ability to handle that, I don't know you should be the one out there, because you're going to end up, I don't know, pulling a gun and shooting someone.
Wasn't that on this channel where we talked about that video where the acorn hit the roof of the car or something, and the guy freaked out and thought it was gunfire and shot the car and
lit
fell?
it up.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
they lit it up.
That's so embarrassing.
Over I think it was like an acorn.
It was an acorn.
It popped. It actually didn't. Did it fall in the car? Did it actually?
I think it fell in the car. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It just like thunked off the roof, and he in his mind it was gunfire because he was probably on edge to begin with or whatever, and so this is why.
And he had a guy in the car already, so he started freaking out, putting shots into the car. Screaming for backup.
Yeah.
And that lost use of his legs apparently.
Yeah, that forced the other officer, who was, I think it was a female one, then opened fire.
Yep.
The male flipped out. The male one, right, and then the female one just started opening fire from the left-hand side of it. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
I forgot there was two people involved.
Yeah, and then they brought backup and they lit up the car too. So,
oh my god,
no accountability.
No, I guarantee you, all those officers are still working for him.
Probably.
This is my biggest problem with all of this is like every job, every industry, every whatever. Like you need to sort of like weed out and discriminate like the different people. Like if you're not doing your job up to par, then like get better people or whatever. But like, what is it about police departments that seem to just like be this like, in a bad way, like this camaraderie band of brother thing where it's like, nope, one of our own, we're going to protect him. Just like, and I'm like, do you know how bad that makes your department look that you defend some of these different people? Like, let the bad seeds go. I don't understand why that's like, not every department, but why it is so many that
because
I've
when
seen
they because when they first walk in, they brainwash them. Okay. And then within weeks, you have to either be with the crowd or you're against the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's where his psych test comes in.
It's another dangerous sort of duality. Like this country loves these like hard, like if you're not first, you're last. Like
you ain't first,
you're
you're last.
With me, you're against me. Like God, man, it's so frustrating.
No, this is exactly why I've been lobbying for Alden to get banned from this show for so many months. But no one will listen to me.
We protect our own here.
We're going to move on to the next topic, which is Field of Dreams. So in Monroe County, residents are up to bat against the county, facing over $1 million in fines for ordinance violations. Basically, these people built a baseball field with some batting cages, and they said there were 4 citations, Dial said, for things pertaining to his driveway and the pole barn itself. They have fined us per citation, which adds up to about $6,000 a day.
Oh my goodness.
For months, obviously. Hilarious though. During the meeting for the commissioners talking about what the ordinance violations were, they did not discuss the details of the ordinance violations or what the county believes the Dials are in violation of.
So you're in violation, but we won't tell you how to fix it.
Exactly.
We're going to fine you per day. This sounds like a mob movie where they're like, the guy goes in and is like, wants like you got to pay, the shopkeeper's got to pay his cut for protection or whatever. And it's like this racket thing. Like, how is this any different?
100%. And then, so there is an update to the story, which is the fines have been lifted at this point in time because they fought it. And he just has to put in a drainage pipe under his driveway, and that will resolve everything.
What a bunch of tricks.
Like
$6,000 a day violations, and
all he had to do is put drainage.
Put a drainage
put some culvert in. Like, okay.
What up, dude?
This is why nobody likes government.
Well, we see these issues as far as counties enforcing ordinances in Georgia. We've seen it before. You interviewed what's his name out there, and was it Floyd County? Back in the day.
That sounds right. Floyd County, yeah, that sounds
somewhere out there, right? Some like outside of Rome or somewhere up there.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Toward me a little bit.
I can't remember. Tim something. Who was living on who they changed, that he was living on that RV on his property while they got it together, and then neighbor didn't like it, and even though he wasn't changing, they just started changing ordinances to bar him from using his property the way he wanted to use it, and set the
Unless it's
agricultural
a homeowners association, what is the problem of having an RV on your property?
Well,
this is systemic. This is like across the
Polk.
country.
Polk County.
Polk. It's up there near Rome.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of them. But yeah, so because they bought this raw ag land, and they hadn't built on it, so they were living in an RV, which wasn't against ordinance.
No.
And then they what they do? Then the neighbor didn't like it, and so they ended up changing the ordinances at the county to tell them they can't live in the RV. They have to build, but if they build, then it's no longer ag land. They can't do all the homesteading stuff they wanted after they dropped all their money on it. They just changed the ordinances and said, you can't ever do with what you want with this property because your neighbor works for the county and he doesn't like it.
Wow. That's dirty.
So
wow.
It was a mess. Jake's the one who interviewed him, so.
Did this go national?
Tim Leslie, that was his name.
Yes.
I want to say this went national because
it got a lot of attention.
It's kind of ringing a bell.
Yeah, it got a lot.
I'm jumping around on YouTube. Maybe I
could have. Yeah,
because I remember this.
Yeah, Jake interviewed him back in the day. So
yeah. Grumpy wants to know if we're going to talk about what happened to Colton Moore today. That is definitely an interesting story. We can hit on it real quick. So, Georgia Senator Colton Moore arrested trying to enter State House chamber after banishment. A state senator in Georgia was arrested Thursday at the state capitol after he allegedly resisted an order that banned him from entering the State House chambers for the State of the State by Brian Kemp. Why was Moore banned from the House chambers? Moore had been banned after making comments in March about the late House Speaker David Ralston. The comments came during a debate in the Georgia State Senate to name a building at the University of Georgia in Ralston's memory. And Moore said, "This body is about to memorialize, in my opinion, one of the most corrupt Georgia leaders that we are ever going to see in my lifetime." Following the comments, which were made in front of some of Ralston's relatives, Republican House Speaker John Burns ordered Moore to be barred from entering the State House, which is crazy. That's insane. He's a Georgia senator.
Because anyone who pays attention knows Ralston was a piece of shit.
Yeah. Horrible, corrupt man. It's wild.
So last March he called it out during that and said, "Yeah, we shouldn't be memorializing this guy." Yep. New speaker, because Ralston died, I think 2 years ago. So John Burns, the new speaker, just goes, "Yeah, you're not allowed in my House chambers, in the House chamber."
This world's flipped.
And he's in the Senate, so it didn't really matter. But now they're supposed to have a joint session for this speech, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to go do my job, and I'm going to go listen to this speech and represent my constituents who elected me." And they had a little temper tantrum. Did you see the video of the security shoving him to the ground?
I did not see any videos. No.
Yeah, they grabbed him and dragged him out, and then shoved him to the ground, and then the cops stepped in after that and were like, "This has gotten a little out of hand." And he's like, "Yeah, it has." And then they walk off with him and arrest him instead of the guy who assaulted him.
Yeah, he was in the hospital. I think it sounds like they broke his hand or something.
Yeah. So Colton Moore is one of the better guys in Georgia politics.
He's not perfect either.
No, but he did sponsor Defend the Guard. He's a strong Second Amendment guy. So not perfect, but as far as the people in Georgia go, he's up there on the good side of things generally. Yeah.
So reach out, support him. Call into your local reps and say that Colton Moore is a hero.
How long is he banned for? Did they give him
a good question. They didn't say in this article. Doesn't say in the article. I don't know how long he was.
banned from for long. I mean, there's no merit. I mean,
yeah, it can. I mean, yeah, it better not be for long. That's insane.
1776 all over again, boys. They're just kicking them out and putting them on the lawn.
Yeah, Brian says it's an indefinite suspension, so they're just like, you're not allowed here until I say otherwise.
Wow.
Whoa.
Dude, that is so ridiculous.
It pleases the king.
It pleases the king. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, man. All right, y'all. We're going to go talk about the Cascade Effect for a little while.
Apparently, Steve should be hopping on any second.
Steve's coming?
That's what he said.
That's great. That's great. Well, as soon as he hops on, we'll kick him right off because we don't want him there. Okay. We're going to watch a little clip. I might need to jump around in this clip, so just bear with me. We're going to watch a clip of Cascade Effect on Rumble, so give me 1 second.
Here in Montana, like I said, about half the state.
Yeah, that's not the one that I wanted. Actually, we can watch this. There we go.
States use grand jury solely to charge somebody with a crime. The other half, like Montana, use what they call information and affidavit for leave, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And what the problem is there is you can literally have one police officer or sheriff's deputy take his report to the county attorney's office and have one deputy county attorney submit a request to the judge to have a person charged. So you literally have only 2 people that can have a single individual charged with a serious crime. And once that occurs, that can destroy a person's reputation. It can destroy their lives. It can destroy their livelihoods. All kinds of things fallout from it. This is why a grand jury is important. All a grand jury does is investigate, okay? They don't charge people with a crime. But once here in Montana, a grand jury consists of 11 people, and it takes 8 of those 11 to indict somebody, okay? Once a person is indicted, that indictment goes to the judge, and the judge has to sign a warrant for the arrest, and that officially charges a person. And then that person is tried in a regular trial that we're all used to, okay? So the grand jury, once they're impaneled, that's the key thing, is once they're impaneled, they're the pinnacle of law enforcement in the county. The prosecutors and the judge answer to them. They are the top law dog in the county. They do the investigating. If they need to have a witness come in, they have the sheriff's deputies issue a subpoena and go subpoena this person or that person. Or if they want evidence like computers or whatever brought in, they can have that issued as well. So the sheriff's department and the judge and prosecutor basically are at the grand jury's beck and call.
All right, so this is from our most recent episode called Trust. It's episode number 4. And what I just wanted people to know is what a grand jury was before we started talking about what happened this week. So exactly what he said. A grand jury is just there to investigate something that happened, and it's a capital crime. So murder, manslaughter, any like big felony is what a grand jury is impaneled to investigate. And so all it does is investigate. It doesn't indict anybody. It doesn't charge anybody. It doesn't convict anybody. It's just an investigation. And so we at the Cascade Effect, Kevin, me, Tony, and Bart, mainly Bart, drafted our petition for a grand jury for the case that we've been working on. And we submitted it on Monday around 10:45. And by 2:30 p.m., the judge that received it had already rubber stamped it denied.
Wow.
Of course.
So within, we calculated she may have been able to read it for possibly 2 hours, but more likely 1 hour. And it's not a short document, and it has evidence attached to it, including a thumb drive that she had to listen to. So
very unlikely that this was actually even.
She probably spent 5 minutes, read the summary, and said, "Nah."
Yeah. I'm thinking she just saw Bart's name.
Yeah.
And said, "Nope."
Is he known? Is he known for making waves?
Yeah, he's got an organization that is trying to get judicial reform in Georgia or in
But
Montana.
It sounds
Yeah,
like
she
it's
saw
either
Yeah.
this case or that person. Yeah, it's just getting.
The worst person you want against you is a person who was charged and is actually innocent, and he had proof that they lied during his thing. The worst thing you want is somebody who was proven right and still charged and then gone out, who has a righteous reason to go hunt down what this actually means for.
And that was Bart.
That was Bart.
Bart got convicted of a crime that he didn't commit, spent 7 months in jail, 10 months in a halfway house situation.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's on a rampage to try to reform the justice system. And so this is a massive blow. We knew it was probably a greater than 50% chance that it would get rejected, but we thought, I don't know, just something in my mind just thought somebody would actually give it a chance.
I did too. At least, come on, at least read it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, the top name was mine. I'm a business owner in Great Falls. How about the taxpayers and stuff of that nature who really think this is there? So, when not just slapping Mike or slapping us or whichever, but it slaps other things that like people like me who contribute to my community.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tell me a big F you?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to look at it. You're not going to give it the time or the space in your mind. I was infuriated that it was so short. Wait a week for me. Then maybe I would have had this reasonable doubt in my head that you weren't the
even if you don't read it, wait more than an hour.
Yes.
Is the judge elected in Montana?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're going to have an emergency episode next week with us three and Bart, and we're going to do it live, and we're going to have a plan of action that the people who watch the show and the people in Cascade and just Montana in general, they can get involved, and one of them will be a petition to get her removed from office.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I know, it gets weird with judges. Like here in Pennsylvania, once judges are elected, when they come up for re-election, at least at some extent, at least on the Supreme Court and some other places, rather than voting for a judge, you vote whether you want to retain them or not.
Ooh. Oh.
And then if you vote no, then you have to so like this year, this is something we've discussed a little bit, is some Supreme Court elections are up. Well, some retaining votes are up this year for Supreme Court. And there's there's a couple, there's judges on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court who allowed a lot of the COVID stuff to go on, who are up. And so we kind of are talking about a push to vote no on retaining them as a punishment on that. So,
well, what's really neat is we've gotten some legislators' eyeballs. So we have bills kind of going through on our side too for a no cause to recall. So what that would do is right now you have to get 10,000 signatures. You got to go through all these hoops. You got to show these causes, right? It is literally we can just recall you. We can put in whatever reason we feel it is. We just don't have any trust in you anymore. Do a recall and then have it going. So we have a couple bills like that. A lot of good stuff has kind of happened from the Cascade Effect and from just us working on this case. We had some legislators who were involved in the beginning before Jake got in, and the eyeballs were, holy shit, this is my courts. And I actually had to take him to a court room to see a judge hand the prosecutor the cases for the case study that needed to be against the other one. And he just was like, are you kidding me? Did I just see this? Wait a minute, I'm a legislator. I'm sitting here right in this building with you in this courtroom. So we don't have the judges here, right? So you can't really. We're in Great Falls, Montana. Not many people. You look at if you want to move here to get talent here or anything else of that nature is like pulling teeth. Just because we don't have a good educational system, they don't want to come. We got the base. So it's hard for us to have actual judges.
This is where all the nuclear silos are. Just
That's
FYI.
where all the right.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So we have-
Nuclear sponge land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have this big turnover. But, you know, for Cripe's sake, if I'm going to run a business and be part of this community, and then you're watching this happen, and she has the balls to just blow us off with the biggest middle finger, it's
not even doing her job. I mean, I feel like this is evidence for the case of like getting someone else in her position. It's like, if you can present how long the information like packet was that you sent and everything, and how quick her response is, I think you could make a pretty good case that like it's real negligence on her part to not even actually consider it and to dismiss it before she's read it. But
It's
it's very
so.
frustrating.
Does she have to issue a decision on the rejection, or just says
that's what
rejected?
I was hoping too. And no, all it says is denied.
Yep.
It just says
doesn't,
nah.
It doesn't
give us
give me a
anything.
dissent or anything. Like, why don't you go over to the court and find out the case study on it? Why aren't you going to give that to us? Why are you denying this? We got nothing.
They should just
You
get a stamp
can't-
that says nope.
Is there?
That's pretty
is
much
there
what
an
it
appeal-
said. Nope.
Is there an appeal process on this, or I guess
There is, but we have to go through.
right.
Bart discusses it.
Yeah, we have to go through the Supreme Court of Montana. So
Yeah, so we have 30 days to appeal it to the Supreme Court. So
it's called a writ of mandamus.
Thank you. Wow, you're good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we've got 30 days to submit it. And the frustrating thing is, according to Bart, and I don't, Bart knows the politics here way more than I do, because
me
I
too,
haven't officially moved here yet, and he's been involved with this whole scene for a lot longer than me. But he has no confidence that the Supreme Court will uphold our appeal.
He would know, I think, like how things work there. He was the one who was saying that was wrongfully convicted and imprisoned. And I think I feel like a common thread of like sympathy for people that are wrongfully imprisoned. Not like that I have officially through the legal system, but we were talking about this earlier with things like with how COVID has been like just like, unraveling the threads of it, and we say we feel right, but do we feel vindicated in the sense that like once a system, it makes the system look bad. This is like what you were saying, like why people don't like these people, because it highlights the imperfections in the system. And I think this is why like I'll like go to talk to my family or something about some of the evidence that's coming out on COVID, and they always have some kind of like, oh well, that's whatever, some kind of write-off like reason in their mind, or whatever event, whatever thing it is. And so I actually feel like even when I feel like I'm like, hey, something's coming to actual official light and it's like more mainstream, and I still don't feel like I get the treatment that is deserved there, I think. And it's very frustrating. And I think on some level I have like just like almost like a weird like empathetic like kinship with people that have been wrongfully convicted on a way. But
Dude, you're so right. Like there's not a single one of the people that like unfriended me during 2020, 2021, 2022, anybody who disagreed with me online and won't talk to me anymore. And then now they see all the data that we were completely right about. Not one of them has come back and actually like said, you're right, I'm sorry, let's be friends again, and I apologize.
there's
Like I've gotten
so
zero
many
apologies
things
or
too
recognition. Yeah.
that are coming out. I mean, like left and right and stuff, like the CIA sitting on papers that are coming out about like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and whatever, like being effective against it. Things
Hunter
that came
Biden's
out
laptop.
before the coronavirus event, by the way, and like just layers and layers, and whether it's Fauci or whether it's like the closed door meetings and then selling off their stocks in industries that were affected by it, that they themselves made the decisions, and like it goes on and on and on, and it doesn't matter. Like every angle that I've like brought up to someone, if someone's truly like dug in, like heels dug into I think this comes down to like sometimes on a personal level to not a systematic level, just the cognitive dissonance of it, and just not wanting to accept that and to be wrong and to feel like you've been misled or whatever. And so I'm trying like the angle of like not like that you personally are wrong, but that you have been misled by your government and by your systems, and that you are actually also a victim in a way, and that I share more in common with them, and that we are together against these systems that have been lying to us. That's like the angle I try.
Dude, that's exactly right. Like I'm in the same path as you in that regard, man. Because like what I see it as is just a whole bunch of people who have watched slightly different things than me repetitively, and that is ingrained in their brain now. And it's like I almost pity them, but not. It's not quite pity. It's more just like I'm trying to be as patient as possible until they see the light, because there's always hope. You know, there's always hope that somebody will change, or something, like a light switch will go off in their head and they'll see what actually happened, or what's going on. And
people can change, and I think the best way to make that happen is to be patient and to be understanding and to be more empathetic. And like I like Steven's story, if he's going to come on here at some point, I'm not sure, but he's said before that like he was one of those people that was really hardcore, like don't you say anything about 9/11, whatever, like we got to go over there and take care of business, and he's went full circle on that and started asking questions, but it's up to him to be open to looking into it and to ask the questions, and he'll tell you, he's like, yeah, full circle, now I've looked at the evidence and I have an entirely different, but each person has to make that call, and it can be an uncomfortable process.
I mean, but Steven drinks IPAs, so he really can't be trusted with anything.
Well, and I think it goes back to the Cascade Effect, when in him saying that they changed their protocols for search warrants.
Yeah.
Right. Because of COVID, but they never went back. Right.
Yeah.
So they don't go back to, and it got a guy killed.
They never go back.
Okay. Yeah. In my eyes, it got a guy killed because of this. I don't even know what the whole rush was anyways, but I mean, right. I mean, so all of that. So when I deal with kids in my business, we didn't shut down during COVID. We didn't even put up, I started doing stupid stuff. Like I was getting the tape measure out for my floor. Right.
To put the stickers on the floor or whatever.
All the stuff. I mean, I told you I was in the medical field. I was a nurse for pediatrics and geriatrics.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the stuff they're putting out is like, nope. So you got to dig further and further. Like, what's the data say? Is this killing children? What's going on? How is it going? So you dig deep. I lost family members, man, who were like, you're nuts. You're not making people wear masks. And I'm like, no, it's up to them. They don't have to come here. They don't have to come to school. They don't have to if they don't want. But I'm calling. It got to the point where I'm calling, our leaders down here saying, the health departments and stuff, and saying, I'm not putting stuff on my door. I'm not closing mine, because the kids, the special needs kids that we work with, can't work online. You're going to kill them. There's no way. Right. If you shut this down, and they need to be here. And luckily we weren't messed with, thank goodness. But that doesn't mean all of Great Falls was not. The hospitals, I was thrown out of there twice.
Yeah. Tim detailed a time when he was thrown out of hospital in Shelby.
Tim.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's one of the sons of Mike Hansen from Cascade Effect. He was thrown out of a hospital and arrested during COVID because he was there with his family trying to make sure his dad was okay.
Didn't let us go through the doors without masks on.
Yep.
They let us sit in the waiting room though. My kid had a doctor's appointment, so we were sat there with no mask on. As soon as we get to a door that has to go back for something, mask.
Yeah. You can't catch COVID in waiting rooms, just like you can't catch COVID when you were seated at a restaurant, just when you were standing.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the restaurant thing. The first time I was living in Washington, and Washington State took this so hard. It was a difficult place to live through this. And when in the early stages, the first time people started doing like mask rules inside their restaurants or whatever. And so we walk into the restaurant or bar or whatever, and we sit down at a table. And the person comes over and is like, do you have a mask? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, you need to buy one from us to stay here. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, do I need to wear it at the table? And she's like, no, because I'm like, you got to eat and drink and stuff. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I've already walked in and I've sat down, and I don't need to wear it at the table. And in order to basically leave, if you're going to tell me I can't stay here, I need to leave, walk out without a mask. But if I need to stay, I have to buy your mask, and nothing changes. No parameter is different in this.
And this logic is like a disease, because it's in the Cascade Effect. It's in what happened with all of this. Right, the totalitarianism, the whole 9 yards of they don't stink, but they fart flowers. And we don't.
But you don't smell the fart if you're 6 feet away.
No, right. It's not toxic to you, right?
If you're 3 feet away, watch out.
The mindset behind this whole entire thing is like a COVID disease. Like it's still hanging on.
The more real disease here, maybe around surrounding COVID, is more of a mental one. I think
they're still on the power trip. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, 100%. And yeah. Anybody out there who hasn't watched the Cascade Effect or listened to it, highly recommend you go watch it. The story
will make your blood boil though.
The story is very interesting. We're trying to basically hold police accountable for their actions, which doesn't happen very often, especially up here in Cascade County, which is the worst county in Montana for exonerations of innocent people per capita.
Not a good
in Montana is the second worst in the United States in exonerations per capita. And so Cascade County is particularly. Go ahead.
I just thought of that reminded me so much of a line from The Big Lebowski, where he's like, one of the laziest men in whatever county it was, puts him high on the running for laziest man in the world. Like, sorry.
That's great. Dude, it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
One of my favorites. One of my favorite comedies.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But yeah, like highly recommend you go check it out. You can go to peacefulsea.network, check it out. You can watch it on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook is our biggest platform.
Is it really?
Something about Montana. Montanans love Facebook, which I used to.
About 20 years in the past.
Maybe 20 years in the future if Zuck keeps going the way he's going recently.
I think Montanans still use MySpace.
So yeah, you can check it out on literally any platform. We're on all the podcast apps. It's video podcast on Spotify, so you can watch it on Spotify. You don't just have to listen to it.
I would recommend the video for it. I think,
I think we should change this up a little bit and place this on its head, because let's ask Jake how he's felt about this from the day. What happened, Jake, when you walked into this scenario to think that it's one of your biggest productions now? Just to put it on to, because I mean, you've done a fabulous job.
Man, that was a weird day. Like I was just coming up to meet you and Tony and Annie. I'd just been given, I think, Annie's phone number from Melissa
from our from our Libertarian Party here at Montana.
You met through the Libertarian Party, that's right.
Through the LNC. I went and introduced myself to the Montana committee at the Libertarian National Convention, and through that I got hooked up because my county here in Montana didn't have an affiliate at the time, so I got hooked up with the Cascade County affiliate. And my first meeting, me and Nikki showed up, and the sons of Mike Hansen, Tim and Arliss, were in the room, and they were discussing this whole case. And I was given, freaking Kevin gave me this thick packet of all the information, and then was like, "So what do you think?"
Read it.
Like, I don't know, man.
You have to read it as fast as that judge read it, you know?
Like, I don't know. And so I just listened for the rest of the meeting, and me and Nikki left and went and ate dinner at a nearby restaurant. I couldn't stop. Like there was almost a pit in my stomach. Like it was almost as though, I mean, I almost got nauseous just thinking about the whole situation and like the fact that I just happened to be at that meeting that night, and the only skill set that was missing from that group of people was media. And that's like what I do. Like I fully believe God put me in that room for a reason.
Serendipitous.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
yeah.
And then how long did it take though for you to sink in after you read? Did you read my packet?
Yeah, I read your dadgum packet. It took forever.
We've been working on it for a year, right? I mean, we had our heads to the sand, dug in, and this poor guy jumps in, and we got PowerPoints going. We're freaking going in different directions, and
it took a while to catch up.
Yeah,
this is how I feel like if I ever talk to someone about 9/11. It's like I have like years, piles worth of stuff, and I feel like I'm overwhelming someone with it. Like,
but he had to make a split decision. Do you want to get in? I mean, are we going to do anything?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
What was the final kicker that put you? And do you think it would have expounded to what you have right now?
The final kicker was, I said, Nikki, what do you think? And she said, I think you got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because like the most annoying thing about the whole situation is that literally like the week before we had discussed, let's stop putting things on our plate for the time being. We've got too much stuff going on. So let's just start taking things off our plate.
Right.
And then this shows up. And so I was like, I don't know, Nick, you make the final call because I can't decide this right now. And she was like, no, you got to do it. So it was, you can blame Nikki.
It was literally almost a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing's been a spiritual movement for me.
Yeah.
Every time I think I should drop it or I should go somewhere or let go, something else kicks me in the head and my teeth and says no.
Dude, when we got the letter that said we were denied immediately,
Yeah.
like that was a huge gut shot for me. Like I was in the van up on our build site, and like I couldn't talk for about 30 minutes, and like Nikki started filming me. So there's footage of all that, me talking to Tony for a minute, and
oh good.
And then I just got enraged, and I was like, that's it. Like I kind of been tiptoeing around this show getting too involved and too like accusatory and stuff like that, but now there are no holds barred. I'm going after people.
It's hard not to be at this point when you're not just like trying to investigate a situation. It's pretty clear that the evidence is stacking up that the system did something wrong and is trying to protect itself. And it flips and it goes the other way. And this is what's so like maddening. Like the try guy or whatever, he got like the Purple Heart.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Like you're getting the Purple Heart, and everything just feels like the bizarro world with this. And
like
it's just
fast.
Yeah. It's
and we're
opposite.
Trying to figure that out. What's the connection between why they would do that so quickly? Right?
Yeah.
And we've just learned the other day that they didn't even search the phone yet to release Tim's stuff. So they told us the whole time that they searched the phone. You think that would have been in the inquiry. So
they're so just out of protocol.
They are so poking at come on, you got nothing. Come on. Yep. And they're so arrogant, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they met dogs like us.
I mean, the mere fact
serious hubris.
The mere fact that one, they haven't searched the phone, but I mean, why would you not search the phone?
Right.
One, there's only two reasons. One, you know what's on it and you don't want anybody to know about it. So it's like denial.
That's what comes to my mind. Yeah.
Two, you can't open it because you don't have the skills or the tech to do so.
Right.
Which is embarrassing and pathetic. And so what I'm interested in, there's been a theory, and no one knows this.
You have a dead man's thumb, like
exactly. I mean,
I don't know if that's a
so
good idea.
No one knows for sure what happened at that, like every single detail that happened at the shooting, but it is not impossible that Mike Hansen recorded video of the incident.
Very plausible.
It is. I don't know what the percentage would be, but it is a possibility that Mike Hansen recorded.
Because Mike wouldn't have been so calm. Mike wouldn't have been so calm in my mind because he knew he was recording.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling. I mean, he was calm as a cookie. Yeah, I would still tell him the guy to fuck off too. I'd be like, go get your fucking warrant.
And the cop says, what do you got there? And
he's got his phone out here.
Seems like he shoots first. Anecdotally, just my interpretation of it, listening to the events, it sounded like he probably had a phone.
So is the phone still in evidence, or where's the phone at this point? Yeah.
Still in evidence, but the case is closed.
They won't give the phone back.
Yeah.
Until it is searched. But because he asked for all the other items, and they will not give the
phone or the firearm.
They won't give the firearm back. I think they're going to give the phone. They said they'll give the phone after it's searched. That's why we got them.
Yep.
Per quote. That's quote.
Yep. After it's searched. So I'm interested to see what comes of that because I would love to get into that phone. And I think we've got I think we know maybe a couple tech guys that could get into the phone and see if anything was deleted recently as well. So that's we'll see what happens when we get the phone back. But yeah, the whole thing is just wild, and it's been a weird ride. Didn't think I'd get involved in Montana stuff this quickly. So thank you, Kevin, for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But yeah, y'all go check it out and spread the word. And if you know anybody in Montana, send it to them because it affects them. All these people that are in charge up here, like Montana is there's not a ton of citizens up here. There's not a lot of people that populate this state. And so what affects one Montanan affects like all of them. So if you know people in Montana, send them the show so they can see what's going on in their state, especially if they live in Cascade County.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Well, y'all, we're not going to wait any longer for Steven. We're going to have more time to talk to Kevin here about his world here in a little bit. But for now, we're going to go do some trivia. All right, everybody. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, there's no Zach tonight. So there's no producer. I'm doing the whole thing myself.
Are we doing Montana-themed trivia to give the advantage to the guest here?
Doing Montana-themed trivia. Right. Grumpy is very on the nose. Nikki is definitely for marriage. You're not wrong.
Grumpy said something earlier that he was like, it's hard to get, what was it? Oh, it's de-escalation.
De-escalation.
It's hard to get a promotion. Yeah. And I was going to make a leap from that. And it's hard to get a Purple Heart also if you specialize in de-escalation.
Yep.
This is true. Boy,
do y'all hear the music?
Yeah. Nope.
I got nothing.
I don't hear it either. Nick, you don't hear it?
Nope. I usually do hear it.
You do hear it? Okay, good.
No, I usually do. I don't.
You usually do. Interesting.
Oh,
I hear a little bit now.
Yeah, now I hear a little bit.
There we go.
Here it comes.
Oh, that's the wrong. There we go. There we go. Okay. It's back in the background. All right, everybody. Welcome to Libations Trivia. I am your host tonight, Jake Green. Zane is out again. That dude has been slacking like crazy recently. He's been out so many episodes.
Is he on vacation again?
No, it's every third Thursday he's out. So for work purposes. And this is the third Thursday of the month. So welcome to Libations Trivia.
Thursday.
The categories are This Day in History, Drinking, and Comedians. Kevin, the next slide. 3 rounds.
Okay.
10 questions in the first round, 5 in the second, 3 in the third, 1, 2, and 3 points each, consecutive rounds. Every question is a free-for-all. The way you answer is you reach toward the camera. Basically, you just put your hand up towards me.
Okay.
And I'll call on the first person who does it. If you blurt out an answer when it's not your turn, you lose a point. They cannot give another answer until all contestants have answered. The winner is no longer a loser.
I didn't win last week, so
you're a loser right now, that's for sure. Let me get my scoreboard going on my end. Give me 1 second, y'all. Kevin, Alden, audience, and Nick. So we're going to try to make Nick lose because he tends to win these. So everybody gang up on Nick.
Is that right? He's just a faster typer on there, and we can't hear him.
He just knows. It's really annoying. All right. Sadly, since I don't have a secondary monitor, you're going to be able to read the questions before I am able to speak them. So here we go. Question number 1. On this day in 1919, what event occurred, the effects of which would mean that our show wouldn't exist? Come on, y'all. Kevin.
The invention of TV.
Nope. Alden.
Prohibition.
Yeah. Liberty libations. There we go. I mean, if we did exist, we'd be criminals.
Yeah. I see the mindset. Okay.
The speakeasy edition here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Question number 2. On this day in 1605, Miguel de Cervantes published one of the greatest novels of all time. What was it, Alden?
Don Quixote.
Don Quixote. Good job,
Yeah.
Alden. Bravo, man. All right. Alden's taking an early lead.
These are the little
Question.
point questions, though.
Yeah, I know. It's
So-
the third round that gets
This is where
everybody,
you
so.
feel like you're doing so good, and then Nick gets like 2 right in the last round. And you're like, he wins. You're like, dang it! Like,
That's how, dude. I can't tell you how many times I've been tied or winning at the end of the first round, and then I don't get a single point after that.
yeah.
All right. Question number 3. On this day in 1991, what war began? Alden.
Desert Storm or the Gulf War.
Persian Gulf War. All right, Alden. Nick, you were a close second right there, man. You almost got it.
That's close.
Question number 4. On this day in 1970, who becomes the premier of Libya? Nick.
Gaddafi.
Gaddafi is correct.
Nice.
Which there are a million ways to spell that, I think.
I was just looking at that and feeling like I've seen it spelled a different way. That's funny.
You've seen it spelled with a G,
G.
Yeah.
but there are multiple ways, and this is one.
It's
of them.
like, yeah, it's just
The just translation to English is just
yeah,
iffy.
it's sounds that don't exist in English.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, question number 5. On this day in 1938, Benny Goodman showcased what style of music at Carnegie Hall for the first time? Nick.
I'm gonna go with jazz.
Swing jazz.
Swing jazz. Okay. Yeah.
You're correct. Yeah. Benny Goodman, one of the greats. All right. On this day in 1997, the son of what infamous actor / comedian was killed on the side of a highway? I'll give a hint in 10 seconds if no one's guessed. Come on, audience. I'm leaning on y'all.
What highway?
A highway in California.
What was the hint?
Was it a wildfire?
No, it was not a wildfire.
Who was in Cheech and Chong? It had to be one of those.
The key word in this question is infamous.
An infamous comedian in the 90s.
He's
their
as
son
famous
died.
for acting as he is for being a comedian, and he was huge. Man, this is crazy.
I don't know the story at all.
Yeah.
You don't have to know the story. Just guess some dadgum comedians.
Richard Pryor.
No, good guess though. Alden.
Robin Williams?
Nope.
No.
Robin Williams is
I'm trying
not
to think of like
infamous.
actor, comedian.
Yeah, but Robin Williams didn't do anything wrong. He just.
I mean,
killed
yeah,
him.
well, see, I'm just grasping at straws because I'm like, you said guest comedian, so I'm like, I
It
don't
is
know.
not. It is not Andrew
Dice.
Dice. It is
Dice.
not Andrew Dice Clay.
Right?
Good guess.
Who
though.
said that?
One of the.
Did they say it at
audience.
the same time?
Yeah. Nick.
Adam Sandler.
No, he's still golfing, man.
I like that. Adam Sandler's never done anything wrong in his life. Come on.
I don't know, man.
Farley,
infamous.
Farley died of a heart attack.
He was on a.
John Candy died of a.
Kevin, quit thinking out loud.
Oh crap!
You gotta.
Do I get
You gotta
points?
reach towards the camera
Oh
if
shit!
you want. If
I
you want to
can't remember
answer.
this stuff.
Audience gets it.
Oh.
Bill Cosby.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
I had no idea that was a story, an aspect of.
No kidding.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And Bill Cosby's a huge name.
I don't know why that I just didn't even think of Bill Cosby at all. With like, you were so right. Infamous should have been a huge clue there, and I just was like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting it. Like,
That's all right.
man,
Question number 7. On this day in 1945, Hitler takes what action? Alden.
suicide.
No.
Supposedly.
Nick.
Reichstag fire.
No. This is probably a pretty vague question.
Oh,
It is an act that led to his suicide. Kevin.
oh.
You got married.
Oh no.
You got married.
Incorrect, but I like where your head's at.
And then, of course, he has to run away to Argentina.
Yeah, this one might be a little more difficult because it's a small scale action. It has nothing to do with anybody in the war or anything like that. Yeah, we'll bring Steven on here in a second. He's down in the green room right now. We'll bring him on in a second. Nick.
He might know.
He fails to find the Ark of the Covenant.
Sure. That's exactly. Actually, we're gonna bring Steven on and see if he knows.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, man.
What is up? All right, Alden, answer.
He couldn't find his cocaine eye drops.
You nailed it, man. Steven, on this day in 1945, Hitler takes what action? And the things that have been guessed is commit suicide, burns the Reichstag, can't find the Ark of the Covenant, and got married. And they're all wrong.
And can't find his drugs.
Retreats to the underground bunker.
Descends into his bunker. Steven, you beast.
I knew he would get it.
Oh, I got to add Steven's name to the scoreboard. Steven, awesome. Good to have you, man. What are you drinking?
Yeah.
Came in right at the right time.
He's got an
Wicked
IPA.
Wheat Pernicious.
Okay. There we go.
Got an IPA.
It is.
Of course.
Yeah, this is why we said earlier in the show that anything you say can't be trusted.
It's
Yeah, that's
potentially
like-
the most diverse style of beer there is.
Okay, great.
Even though it's technically an ale, which is the real style. But you know what I'm saying.
Sure. All right, question number 8. On this day in 1861, the Crittenden, which actually should be Eton, Compromise, was killed in the Senate. What was the intended purpose of the bill? Alden.
Freeing slaves?
Nope.
Hmm.
Nick.
Ending the war.
No. Steven.
Paying reparations to southern states for damages that the northern troops did before the war.
No.
Okay.
Kevin, you got a
Specific.
guess?
Putting slaves in.
Nope. All right. The hint is Nick was extremely close, but I couldn't give it to him because he's basically one word off. But it's a crucial word. Alden.
Okay. I was gonna make a joke and say ending the Civil War, but because I just wanted to see if you were being that picky.
No, not being that picky. Nick.
Starting the war.
Dang it.
No, this compromise was killed in the Senate. Steven,
Right.
Kevin, y'all got any guesses?
No.
Come on, audience. You got to have some guesses. Alden.
Perpetuating the war.
Oh, my gosh. Look at
Almost
the date,
the
y'all. It's
war,
1861.
Mm-hmm.
Which, oddly enough, that's also the year A1 steak sauce was invented.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What's that steak sauce made of? That's what I want to know.
Anchovies.
Whoa.
That's my guess. I don't know.
All right, y'all got 10 seconds.
I have no idea.
Pass.
It's gonna be one of those slap your face simple things, probably.
Steven.
Ended the armed conflict.
It's 1861. That's what I mean. Everybody's fighting.
Avoiding
Avoid.
the Civil War.
Avoid.
It had not started quite yet.
We
And
danced around it.
they tried to basically rewrite the Missouri Compromise. So there you
Gotcha.
go. Nick was so close.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick was
Yeah.
so close.
But you're
But I
right. It's
needed-
a
It
critical
was ending
difference.
the war before it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had said that, I would have definitely given it to you.
Clever.
Lincoln had to shave his beard, according to Grumpy.
Mhm.
All right, question number 9. On this day in 1973, the final episode of what popular show aired, ending its 14-season run? Alden.
MASH.
No.
Dang it.
I'll give a hint after everybody guesses once. Steven.
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
I was just about
Really?
to say that myself.
I was just like, what came on TBS at 2
I
a.m.
was
when
between
growing up?
Bonanza and Gunsmoke.
I almost said
I don't know a lot of
Oh, that would
like.
have been a good guess too. Yeah.
I don't know a
My
lot
dad
of
still
shows.
watches
At that time.
Bonanza. It's a decent show.
Bonanza was fun. I like westerns though.
Hey, I
so.
grew up on that.
Question number 10. Final question of the first round. On this day in 1547, who was crowned Tsar and Grand Prince of all of Russia? Nick.
Ivan the Terrible.
Ivan
Nice.
the Terrible is correct.
Nice call. Yeah. Nice job.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Why was he terrible?
Many reasons.
If you have to ask, it's too much for you.
Why is he not Ivan the Lovable?
Now, was Catherine the Great his counterpart?
She was
The Great
later,
and Terrible.
I thought.
I think so. I think that was during the same time, right?
Because there's a TV show. There's a
Called The Great. Yeah.
yeah.
My
I
wife
thought
watched.
Catherine the Great was later.
Could have been later. I don't remember.
Maybe
I don't
so.
know.
Okay.
But Nikki
Yeah,
loves that.
Catherine the Great was 1762 to 1796.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Later.
not with Ivan.
And
the
that's when
Terrible.
Crimea was given to Russia. But who cares about that?
Let's go into that war real quick. Round 2, Prohibition. Question number 1. Prohibition was established by what constitutional amendment? Steven.
21st.
Nope. Alden.
26th?
Nope. Nick.
The 20th?
Nope. Kevin, you got a guess?
27th. Oh.
Nope. Nick.
The 18th.
18th is correct.
We were
I
all
knew it
the
wasn't the
20s.
19th.
We're playing in the
know what
20s because
19th
that's when they
21st
put
was
it
the
on
repeal,
bullshit.
right?
Yeah.
Why did we
right.
all think it was in the 20s? That's funny.
That is funny. Question number 2. What was the term for illegal bars or clubs that sold alcohol? Nick.
Speakeasy.
I said this earlier.
Uh-huh.
Dang
I
it.
know.
Yes,
I
you
know.
did.
God dang it.
All right. Question 3.
I
What
should have
was
got
the
a
common
preemptive point.
name of law enforcement agents tasked with enforcing prohibition? Alden.
Assholes.
That's my favorite guess, but incorrect.
Half point, right? Because that's what they were called more, I bet.
Probably. Yeah. Brian says tyrants.
Yeah.
He's also
Yeah.
semi-correct, but not.
That's another half point. There, yeah.
They had 2 names. They had an official name called Prohibition Agents.
Mm.
Stupid.
And then
And
assholes.
There was a colloquial name that people knew them as. Dickheads is not.
With a C.
Steven,
The Fuzz.
not the Fuzz. No.
What was the second
This is a very difficult question, by the way. What's that?
What was the second? What was the second part?
They used to call them Prohibition agents,
Right.
and then the second one is the one you're trying to
Trying
get.
to guess.
Do you have a guess?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels like an asshole.
Alden.
He's got it in my head.
Party poopers.
No, that's a good one too. All right, the hint. I'm opening it back up to the floor after this hint. The hint is the hint is it's extremely close to
Treasury.
Grumpy's guess, which is incorrect. But it does have
It's
something
close
to
to
do.
dickheads?
No,
No, Treasury.
Treasury agents.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like it's close to. Just drop the Z. It's dickheads.
If no one
with an
gets
S,
it, I'm
like-
gonna give a point to Grumpy. Steven.
Treasurers.
No, but you're getting closer. This is not treachery agents either. Nick.
Taxman?
No.
Just playing up tax man.
No, that's good though. I'll open it back up to the floor again. They share this word with Grumpy got it.
Oh.
Revenuers.
Oh.
Revenuers. Good job, Grumpy.
It's
Nice.
crazy.
I like dickheads better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
more
thought
fitting.
Kevin Costner. He did the probation. This
Prohibition.
movie. Yeah.
Which
It was
one?
Kevin
Which one was that one?
Costner and oh my gosh, what's his name? British guy.
There's a new movie?
Tom Hardy.
No,
okay.
no.
No.
Tom Hardy one is great.
Played in the
Shia
Rock
LaBeouf.
too. Played in the Rock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
Talking about Sean Connery?
Sean Connery?
Sean Connery.
Oh,
and
okay.
Kevin Costner played
Oh,
Is that
Prohibition
Untouchables?
Agents?
as Prohibit. Yeah, I think it might have been the Untouchables. I think it might have been. Was it? I think so.
Nice.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's a good one.
I'll watch
That's
that.
where he stuck right here in the bridge, up on the Missouri, where he stuck the gun in his mouth.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. All right. Question number 4. What constitutional amendment ended prohibition? Stephen.
21st.
21st.
That's where we were getting. Okay.
That's where
the
you were getting
20s.
it. Stephen was so excited about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good
Isn't that your
movie.
same answer that you said before, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 5. Al Capone was based out of what city? Alden.
Chicago.
Chicago is correct.
Chicago.
Good night, Grumpy. Peace out.
Later,
brother.
Grumpy.
All right. Round 3. Disgraced comedians.
Oh, I thought it was just comedians. The whole round's about disgraced comedians.
Let me.
We already
So-
did
Last
one
one, right?
disgraced Canadian.
Who got the last one right? Was it Alden?
Yeah.
Yes.
So after 2 rounds, our guest is losing with 0. You're not the only guest to have 0. Audience has 3, Steven has 4, Alden has 5, and Nick has 7. It is technically still anybody's game.
Did just
I
big
have
curveball
7.
here. You're giving curves.
You have 7, Nick. Yeah. So it is anybody's game. Kevin, you have to get all 3 questions right to win.
Wow.
I took
So-
the speakeasy answer personally, Nick.
Yeah. Well, what can you do?
All right. Question number 1. Which comedian was banned from network television in the 1960s?
Oh, no.
Kevin.
Sam Kinison.
No, but that's a very good guess. It's a little bit before Sam Kinison. Steven.
Jerry Lewis?
No, he was a clean comedian a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of the time. Yeah. All right, if no one guesses in 10 seconds, I'll reopen it to the floor and give a hint. Kevin.
Eddie Murphy.
No.
Yeah, in the 60s.
Audience gets it.
What's the name?
Lenny
Bruce. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I
I
would've
had a
never
B
gotten it.
sound. God. I'm so frustrated.
Mm.
He.
The hint was I was going to give was he's a character in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I was gonna say there's actually a really cool depiction of him in that show. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome in that show.
What
Oh,
kind
he's
of-
fantastic. He's one of my favorite parts of it.
The language that he would use
Yeah,
at that
what
time was
words?
super.
Like ass, probably.
So many words.
Oh.
Every word that he wasn't allowed
Bop,
to say.
bop, bop.
He started doing the language thing more as just like a pushback because he kept getting arrested. But
Oh, yeah.
it was also just the content. It was what he was saying. It was the points.
Yeah,
that
he
was
got arrested
making and
in
things.
clubs. Like not just
Yeah.
he didn't just get banned off like TV. He got arrested in
Oh, yeah.
nightclubs for doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yes.
All right. Next question. Question number 2. What comedian was banned from MTV in the late 1980s for his offensive material? Alden.
Is this Kinnison?
Dadgummit, I've forgotten what the answer is. Give me
What?
1 second,
Really?
everybody.
Because I thought when he said Sam Kinison, I was like, well, that's later, but he was one of the people that was pretty harsh. So
Give me 1 second. It is not Sam Kinison.
okay,
I think it was Nick, then Steven.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Andrew
Okay.
Dice Clay
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the correct answer. Well, Nick just solidified his victory, but the 3 of y'all, the 4 of y'all minus Kevin, are battling for second place. So, Kevin, you can ruin it for 2 of them. Question number 3. Which comedian's career went downhill after he set himself on fire while freebasing cocaine in 1980? Stephen.
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Did
Yeah,
he
baby.
oh, I
Richard
didn't know
Pryor is correct.
that. Oh my
Thanks,
God.
everybody, for playing. Appreciate it. And sadly, I have to click this stupid button again. All right.
Learn
All right,
something.
everybody. welcome back to the regular show. Thank y'all for playing trivia. Really appreciate y'all tuning in, commenting, giving your guesses. It's mainly Brian, Sumquack, and Grumpy who were really going to town tonight. Hannah hadn't been around for a while, and I think that's because she just had a baby. So she normally gives the people a run for their money.
Isn't she a teacher?
She is a tutor right now. She used to be a teacher.
You know what's funny? We were just talking about Bill Cosby. There's a scene where he is an actor in the movie Jack. Do you know the movie that I'm talking about? Where Robin Williams is like a little kid that looks old or whatever. Yeah, and he's a tutor, and they make a joke about like farting and the whole tutor thing. Anyway, just full circle in my mind. I got my cat with me here right now.
Hey, buddy.
We're pussycat lovers.
All right. We're going to spotlight our guest tonight. Our guest is Kevin Leatherbarrow. We've already gone over that. He's,
by the way, one of the coolest names, Leatherbarrow. That's an awesome name.
It's an awesome name.
Yeah,
it sounds like a name from a Western or something. That's so cool.
You don't forget nobody forgets it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But Stephen, Kevin, since you weren't around for the first part, Kevin's one of the leads in the Cascade Effect. He and Tony Rosales were the ones who started investigating it as the Libertarian Party up here in Cascade County. And they brought me in once I came to my first meeting, LP meeting up here. So he's one of the stars of the show and one of the...
Sorry.
That could not have been more perfectly placed. That was ridiculous.
Cat got your tongue, Jake?
Good Lord. Okay. Kevin, I want to know more about your business and what you do teaching. Like, I want to know more about this, your school that you have set up. So can you give us a brief description, and then we'll ask you some questions about it?
Sure. That started out as a, tutoring. I started it in my house.
There you go.
And then it turned into mostly special ed when we first started. We did IEPs, we did advocating for them, we did, and just played out tutoring, but taking the heart of the hard to come in and see us. And then one day, one of our tutoring parents said, "Would you just teach my kid?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll just homeschool him. Sure, I'll do that for you." And that got into another one, and then another one, and then it just kept growing and growing. And now we call it a pod school. That's like, we should have been able to coin that. It kind of spread all over. So what we do is we have a big homeschool base here too, but we can homeschool them. K through 12 is what we do. Like I said, we do atypical children. We also do all special ed kids too. Mm-hmm. Those that don't fit in the mold in the schools, they come to us. Since up here there's no charter schools, so there's no real choice up here. They have a district charter school that they started, but that's still district money. Not true charter schools. I'm the only tutoring agency that'll touch any of this for profit that sits here. Most businesses up here handle situations like this are non-for-profits. Mm-hmm. And I have a stern feeling about not being a non-for-profit because where some of those things and money comes from. So we kind of built that 7 years now we've had it. And honestly, the model wasn't supposed to work because I don't turn down children and I don't get any aid from anywhere else. Mm-hmm. So our tuition for the year is like $6,900 and we go all year round.
Wow.
And they come to school for us for 3 hours a day unless they want a full day program. And then literally that's kind of how it got built. And then here we are still sustained. We thought we were done during COVID. We kind of just started. Yeah. We're like, oh my gosh, we just started, but we actually got busier. People were just looking for that other thing.
Imagine like with all the regulations around regular schools that people wanted their kids out of that crap.
Yeah, we actually had to teach people how to use a computer for their kids to be online, which was weird. It was like parents were coming and we had to run a class. We were like, well, we'll just run a class. They could not figure out how to get their kids online for online schooling.
Wow.
So they started coming to us. and we started putting them on. I've got kids in Hawaii. I've got kids just 4 miles all over that stay with our school. And then we got around it because I don't call myself a school.
Right.
We called ourselves just tutoring and consulting. Because if I would have turned it into that, then I would have had more regulations, and I would have been. So we don't really serve food. We make the kids pack their lunches and a lot of stuff to get around the overhead and all the regulation parts of it.
Nice.
To get kids an education. And that's how we run that.
Nice. And how many people work for your tutoring?
We have 2 employees.
Okay.
Yep, we got 2 employees. Me, my wife, and 2 employees.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. And how long has that been going?
7 years.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Teaching fish to climb a tree.
Yeah, well, they don't like they didn't like us at first. I mean, they still don't like me. Because every time a child leaves, they're losing 14 grand. I don't make 14 grand, right? We don't do. That's not how it works. Actually, we work on sliding scales. We do promotions. We do, make sure that the kids. We do scholarships. I try to give 2 scholarships a year, and we don't make a lot of money.
Wait. So is that how the education system works here in Montana? That the money actually follows the kid?
It doesn't right now. We just passed those bills. We're trying to get that to stay.
But it disappears from the public school system if they stop going to the public school.
Going to school.
Interesting, because I don't think that doesn't happen in Georgia. That's not how it works.
No, we talked about it. We give it lip service every year, and it never gets out of committee.
Yeah. So I think my first 2 years I took $500,000 away from them, 50 to 60 children I had in my buildings at that time. So and do not multiply that by 6 years.
Yeah,
and you can see why sometimes they've had hits out on me. And I mean, like whatever, I'm looking over my shoulder because you take so many. Because kids want to come over. So I was really fortunate enough to say, well, then stay half days. So I mean, I'm not totally against the school district. That's not or public schools,
right?
And then when they started going back and forth, but they can't do that. They just make an exception for my kids unless they're special needs. If they're special needs, you can have that in their IEPs and move them. But atypical children, they cannot. So we'll say, well, fine, stay in half day then. And then we set up a plan and they go, we'll take care of the academics. They get to go for sports, music if they want to, and things like that. And it kind of rotates out like that.
Interesting.
So
that's cool, man. I like that. We LP Georgia, we have a big focus with our podcast on like homeschooling and alternatives to public school. And there are so many good options out there these days, and a lot of resources too. Like I'm a huge advocate for homeschooling. Like I love all kids who have been homeschooled. I think you end up with I don't know, like homeschool kids tend to get a bad rap as far as their social skills.
Absolutely.
But what I've discovered is that their social skills are far more proper and refined. Mature than kids who actually.
Honestly, looking back at
myself, look at me. I'm an idiot and I can't interact with people for crap. And I went to school. I am proof.
We really super. I mean, I love the people homeschool. That was kind of another reason why I started this, because I public school teacher and then I was a charter school teacher and whichever else. I'm like, the hell, what's happening with these schools? My kids aren't going to school. I can do this.
Yeah.
Hell no. I got my ass kicked by my own 2 children. I was like, man, I got to start something that will actually take them. I mean, come on. I mean, and I'm an educator and I'm like, I can't even do my own kids. And that's kind of how that rolled when they said, would you teach our children? And I was like, all right. And I just kind of put a price out there. The reason why I put the price is because I had 2 children at $6 grand. It could help them when they get their taxes back. So I was thinking, well, when you guys get your taxes back, it'll help you with that burden. The first year that they're with us, it's a burden kind of, right? Because they don't plan for it. But the next year for your tax credit return, I'm thinking, well, they can actually put it towards their kids' education. And a lot of my parents do that. Now they're in that routine where they every year they get their $3,000, $2,000 or whichever. It helps them out. And instead of spending it on, I don't know, dope.
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't know.
New set of rims.
New set of rims, right? We won't talk about guns because you should buy guns when you get your taxes back.
I was
That's
gonna say ammunition.
yeah, man, you can leave that in there, buddy. That's perfectly fine. I understand that.
That was my first
Absolutely.
cut.
Absolutely. So that's our business in a nutshell. That's what we do.
That's
And-
awesome, man. I
Yeah.
love that.
Anything that sticks it to the state, we like. You probably should watch your back though, because someone's gonna come in an unmarked car with a "Trust Me, Bro" warrant one day. You know.
Probably, man. No kidding.
Well, see, his second job, he wanted to get a little safer, so he's going after the police with the Cascade Effect.
Yeah. You got to hedge your bets, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, with the tutoring stuff, like you said, you're not necessarily against your local school district. You're just taking $500,000 a year out of their pockets, but it's for the kids because it's not. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what motivates you is not what you're taking away from your local school districts, it's what you're giving to these other kids.
That's a good way to test if the school system is actually there for the kids. If they get mad that you're doing something that's really helping these kids in a very individualized way, like.
Oh yeah, this is how it started. I walked into my first IEP meeting, and I've written thousands of IEPs, individual education plans, written thousands. All right, and they asked me to look at it, and IDA allows you to go out to an outside service to do that, and having master's degrees and whichever else. I go in there and I shut the whole thing down. I was like, no, there's the goals don't match. You're not giving services. We didn't get this, this, and this. They actually cried. The teachers cried. And I'm like, I'm a professional telling you here, right? And they're in tears. Second meeting where they give you 18 people at these meetings. I had 4. That's all I needed. Okay. I need the ELA, the special ed teacher, and I need the person that's going to be making the parents, and that's it. And because they go in, they get so intimidated. They use different languages, they use all kinds of stuff to them, and they don't read their pamphlets for what IDA can really give them or what the laws are for their children. And the principal actually, when I left, he was so upset with me. He tried to get a hold of me, and good thing he didn't leave me a message or whatever, because and didn't talk to me, because I'm sure he was very, very upset with me. And then that's how that was my reputation. And then everybody started flooding in, and I have more names of my company on IEPs than has ever been in Great Falls, Montana.
And God bless you for that, man. Because my wife was a special ed teacher for 5 years before I finally started making enough money to where she could stay at home with the kids and homeschool them.
Yeah.
And she was severe and profound special ed, and she was in a rough district on the south side of Atlanta here.
Oh,
and
shit.
yeah, and her school was pressuring her to write IEPs for kids she'd never even met.
Wow.
It's illegal as hell. It's a federal.
You need
It's illegal.
diagnosis.
It's immoral. It's
There
horrendous.
are multiple districts around Metro Atlanta. That's what they do, because if that kid leaves that school, like you said, it's money out of their budget.
Yeah.
And they get 5,000 on top of, and if not more, because of services. So if a kid gets 12,000 atypical, they pump that up $5 more grand for a special ed kid to meet all of those services, which are supposed to be in and outside of the school, not just inside the school, outside the schools. Yeah.
Well, and she did severe and profound too. So most of her kids were wheelchair bound. We're talking G tubes, the nasal feeding tubes and all that stuff. And because there were 2 of them that, they were sick all the time. They were allergic to life, basically.
Yeah.
And so she tried to declare them profoundly disabled, and principal got on to her. She goes, "We don't have any profoundly disabled children." And she goes, "Why does the classification exist?" And she's like,
Duh.
But then my wife caught on to that because it's a rough district. Some of these kids, that's the only way they get care. So you declare them profound, they can't show up at the campus. And the only way they get the nurse to come home with them is having the qualification to be on campus, and then they go, "Okay, we're going to send you home with a nurse," and that's the only way those kids survive.
Right. Yeah. I saw that in the inner cities of Buffalo too. I worked on the east side, gang side of Buffalo. Same thing. Going through all of those things too. But then that's the wonderful thing about charter schools or pod schools, like we do. Even though that they can come out, the IEP gets put back in again. So that's IDA law. So when they complain, and they tell these parents, well, you're going to lose all of your services. And they're like, yeah, I know. Okay, it's fine. And blah, blah. When a kid goes back in, they have to. It's IDA law. Doesn't matter when they enter back in. If they don't like the service, they can go back in and it's not working or something. They just don't want to do the work. They don't have they can't keep up with the funding and the money. And, it's just killing them. Just killing them.
Jeez. All right, y'all. Well, Kevin, thanks for sharing all that, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
It. Love the work you do.
Yeah, you're doing good work, man.
Love working with you with the Cascade Effect. It's been a ride, and I have a feeling it's going to keep going for a while.
My kids have seen the Cascade Effect.
Yeah.
So their parents have seen the Cascade Effect. Yeah. And one of my kids walks in and leans over my desk, and he goes, "My dad loves it. He so needs to go to jail." I'm like, "Oh boy, see the Cascade Effect last night, huh?"
Yeah, that's great. That is great. Well, yeah, we're gonna keep going with that. We've got 4 more episodes that'll come out over the next 4 or 5 months, and this is just the start. We're gonna do a season 2 on a completely different case.
And we've got some new developments too. I mean, Pam's out now.
So the next episode is going to be a big one.
Catherine gave her my numbers. Been blowing up my phone, dude.
Yeah, I talked to her today,
and I don't blame her. I really don't. She's got so much, and I know 89 seconds hit her really hard. She yelled at me. She was on the phone, literally yelling at me, going after Tony and everything else. But I said, "You're not listening because you're emotional. Go back," and she did, and she's doing okay with you.
Oh yeah, no, she's very very kind to me.
Yeah, she's a loving soul. She's it's such a shame we couldn't have talked to her up at the prison or whatever.
It's going to make this episode. This episode is going to blow up. So it's going to be a very good one. It'll come out in
tell her story.
Probably 3 or 4 weeks. So stay tuned for that. Also, just a reminder for anybody else who's still watching, still listening. We're going to have an emergency bonus episode of Cascade Effect. It's just me, Kevin, Tony, and hopefully Bart just talking about the new developments and the plan of action going forward since our grand jury petition got denied within just a couple hours. So
I didn't know they moved that fast.
Rubber stamping, man. Rubber stamping it.
That does.
They don't move fast unless it's an automatic no. Yeah, then it's real fast.
Exactly. But for now, let's move on to this.
I am not fucking drunk.
Well, my teeth are blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up.
On Wiedersehen, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
All right. We've come to Drunkard of the Week, and there weren't many submissions this week, so I picked one. It's a topic we've actually talked about before. Anyway, we'll just watch it and we'll all cringe together. So here we go.
Roll the clip.
Us feel discomfort when we think about pedophiles. But just like pedophiles, we are not responsible for our feelings. We do not choose them. But we are responsible for our actions. And we must make a decision. It is our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles and to treat them with the same respect we treat other people with. We should accept that pedophiles are people who have not chosen their sexuality and who, unlike most of us, will never be able to live it out freely if they want to lead an upright life. We should accept that pedophilia is a sexual preference.
Yes. From an emotional point of view, I can kind of understand that you would want to eliminate these people from society.
With a wood chipper.
However, it doesn't make sense. And that's because we're talking about biology. We're talking about a sexual orientation, something that we simply cannot change. And on top of that, every day, new people are born with the same difficulty. So it's not practical to eliminate these people from society. They haven't done anything wrong.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
That's a bold statement. They haven't done anything wrong. Like,
So that's our drunkard of the week. This is a video from a couple months ago. We didn't get to play the video on the show. We just kind of talked about the subject, but there is a whole movement around this garbage.
Oh, it's not new. I brought it up before that. I don't know if it's still the case, but in Greece, they would actually give you a handicap sticker so you can park closer to the playground. I mean, seriously, like they classified it as a mental illness, which qualified you for the handicap sticker, and then you get to park closer to the playground.
Oh,
all of Europe needs to go.
Yeah,
all of Europe
needs to go.
Just send them to Mars. Get rid of them all.
Jake's probably not going to be surprised, but after the show, I have a case for you.
Okay, great. I'm so excited. Great.
I know. No, who said wood chipper?
Steve.
But we were all thinking it.
I like you, brother. If I gotta go do bad stuff, I'm calling you.
Oh man. Yeah. So there's our drunkard of the week. We do this every week. You can submit your own nominations for drunkard of the week by tagging us at Liberty Libation on Twitter, on X, and we will consider. Dude, yeah. And CNN was reporting all of this. That was all clips from CNN.
Oh,
it's
God.
wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think you're getting a late reaction because I'm still stunned at like.
Yeah.
It flipped on me. Like at first, the first girl that was talking, I thought she was going to talk about accepting like how the brain works or some kind of a layered thing of this of like, and it just went into more of like an apologist thing for the behavior. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, like that's not the same thing.
I'm with you there. And it started to something too. And the way that they were portraying it is they're shifting the locus of control to your environment controls you. Not
instead of
you control your actions.
Yes. I thought it was starting out with like, this is how you need to like be better than the urge and like, you know, giving someone the a little bit of the, you know, grace of like, we need to overcome, you know, whether it's, you know, reaching for the second bag of Doritos or if this is your vice, like it's all, everyone has their own kind of thing. I'm willing to go down that road with like, if we're trying to help someone get better, then I think society can benefit from that potentially. But I am not willing to do they're people too. Let them just be free and do what they want. And I'm all for freedom, and I'm not that free. Like there's a limit to.
What countries do though? Don't they have marriages at 14?
Germany consent is 14,
right? Mexico. I think Mexico.
I don't know.
Is this the Tristan and Isolde law? Like,
oh man, what comedian did that though? Because there's a stand-up bit about like, can you imagine being at Congress like when they're trying to decide the age of consent? Like,
right?
Can you imagine being first? You know,
I think
we call Rhode Island to vote first, and like Rhode Island says 12, and everyone's like, oh god, oh no, horrible, what?
And then 14, you're like,
oh, it's Shane Gillis.
Oh, it was Shane Gillis.
Oh, of course,
yeah, he's got a bit on that. Yeah,
I think like 600 years ago, it would make sense because like the life expectancy was just truncated, you know, by quite a bit, and so you're like, all right, like
that's a bit of a myth.
I know it's an average of you know, a lot of like deaths at birth and like
childhood illnesses kind of.
You're stepping on my joke, but yeah,
it's the unconscious thoughts that have gotten these people freaking ass backwards.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's just it's a thought, pal. Okay,
yeah,
I mean you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do want to recognize Brian's comment because that is a great reference.
North American Marlon Brando lookalike Nambla.
That's good. Yeah. Is that South Park? The Nambla?
Yes,
that's South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a while.
That's so good.
Yeah. In general, I want us as a society to hold other people and ourselves to certain goals and like these higher self-level goals of like how to be a better person. I don't want to start being that part of that society that just excuses everything, because that's just a real slippery slope to just being a place I don't want to live, basically. But
yeah, good point.
Yep.
Well, that's how you tear down the culture, right? Just accept everything. You have to, it started with the, just tolerance, and then it became accept everything, and now it's celebrate everything, and it's like, look, people can go do there's a lot of things people should just kind of be able to do, but also, stigmas are a good thing in society.
It goes full circle.
They kind of keep things in check.
This is academic. This is what they're talking about for your kids to go into schools coming up. Okay, so you got government schools. This shit's running in there.
Oh yeah,
think about that.
We already know that. We already know that college professors are the enemy class.
Well, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. I know. I've got a buddy that had kids in that school system before he moved back to Georgia, and this was 5-6 years ago, and it was a kindergarten class. They had a rainbow colored unicorn come in talking about some kids have two daddies, some kids have two mommies. Sometimes daddy becomes mommy, and you can use whatever bathroom you want. And they were like, yoink, get my kid out of this school. What the hell was that?
Well, the pornographic books they keep putting in the libraries and going, how dare you ban books?
Yeah.
Sorry. Third graders don't need to know about blowjobs.
No.
Sorry.
And that's what they're saying. They're saying the parents don't know anymore. You drop us off at 7:00 in the morning. You gave us your children. You don't see them till 5:30. We got this.
Can I make a parallel between this type of a thing and pedophilia, even in a weird way? It's sexualizing children too young, before they're even sexual beings and before they're even motivated by this or thinking about this, and like you're assigning like your own adult like world stuff onto a younger person. Now it's not the same. I'm not saying that this is as bad as like whatever you would do to a child in the pedophilic sense. I don't even want to go there, but it's still like corrupting the innocence in a way. Like it's still not, I don't think that it's a good way to act and think and be, and like let kids be kids. Like kids, let them worry about that shit when they're whatever age, that, not 7, it just doesn't make sense to me to put this on younger and younger and younger kids. And I think childhood should be preserved as best we can.
Exactly. Kids today are getting to talk. Some kids have two daddies, some kids have two mommies. I was playing tetherball.
Yeah. I was playing tetherball with my two moms.
Tetherball and Foursquare. Heck yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah,
and again, I'm not saying
they set up health centers inside the high schools here because medical consent age is 14. Wow.
This was right, and this was my when I started seeing them pop up in Great Falls. And like the non-for-profits and the health ones the health clinics are going in and they're actually renting space or inside the school district. And it's like, well, we're not giving propaganda for COVID or anything else, but there's a big fucking sign on the front that says, get your COVID shot. Make sure your parents know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like,
it's very one-sided.
When does it stop? Right.
Yep.
You go to school and let the parents do all that. And you're there to teach.
Yep.
A lot of the stuff it's frustrating too, like kids shows, like any of my friends that have kids, and like the things that I see in the shows. I think my biggest problem with this, I wonder if Jake will appreciate this as someone who like is a filmmaker and a storyteller. Like when I was a kid, I'm not saying there was none, but it seemed like it was the content that I took in was like story first, and then there might be some propaganda stuff peppered in there or whatever. Now I feel it's like overtly propaganda that the story's lost, like and we're not even trying to hide it. Like it's, some of the things are so blatant. They'll go on a 5-minute tangent about something.
Our drunkard of the week last week, Whitney Cummings, made this point on her New Year's Eve roast, which
that was great.
Which was like Hollywood can't seem to make a movie that isn't promoting some of like one of their idiot agendas, and it's like that's exactly it. They come up with, what's the idea that I want to promote, and then they form a story around it, rather than coming up with the story and being like, okay, maybe like it just when you write, because I'm a writer, I've written many scripts. When you write, what you believe comes out in those scripts, whether you want it to, whether you're writing about that topic or not. And that's what it used to be. And now it is, what do I believe? Let me write about that in a way that people can connect with.
It's not connecting
with. No, not connect with. Let me bludgeon you over the head with.
Yes.
Because wait for this AI shit. These kids get to go on there. They get to plow whatever thought or whatever their thinking is, and have it portray it for them.
Mm-hmm.
This is dangerous shit, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
And you're looking at them. They're ghosts that are doing this to our children, right? So they can go on ChatGPT and do this, and they can just go do whatever they need to and put in a fantasy that they have heard propaganda-wise, and it'll turn it. There's no more writers. I'm a writer.
I've heard.
I'm a poet, and he's a writer.
This is a bit of hearsay because I haven't seen this for myself because I haven't wanted to, but I've heard that there's some people that are going on dark web stuff and getting weird films and snuff films and whatever. Some of the stuff that we were talking about. And then having an AI program turn them into minions or whatever, but it's the minion version of this really act, and then putting it on YouTube Kids or something. And
there's a whole bunch of weird stuff that's going on with YouTube Kids where they'll be AI generating this content that's just completely incoherent to anything, and just
it looks like LSD mind control programming stuff, MK Ultra's garbage. It looks weird.
We're not going down that road, man. No, we're not going down that road. We're gonna move on to the funnies now. We're gonna end with that, with Alden's LSD mind control children experiments.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, we're gonna wrap up here in a few minutes. We're gonna just watch a few funny videos or a few funny memes. But thank y'all for tuning in. Go check out Cascade Effect over on Peaceful Sea Network.
Get some swag.
Get some swag. Get some merch, y'all. We have new merch that came out very recently, and new merch will be coming out again in the very near future.
You've got about a week if you want to order that Valentine's teddy bear for the drop shipping.
Yeah, if you want to order that Valentine's teddy bear that is I love the government or I hate the government. No, I love you more than I hate the government.
I want a teddy bear that says I love the government. No, I hate the government. No, I love the government.
No, it's I love you more than I hate the government. And it's a cute little teddy bear. It's adorable, and it for the most meaningful thing we can give to somebody.
I'm guessing Steve's already ordered one.
Oh yeah, well it's happening. Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's watch a couple funny things and then get out of here, y'all. This first one. I don't know if y'all watch the Bad Friends podcast, but these two guys are so funny. Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. So here you go.
This whole fucking Korean deer thing got out of hand.
What are you talking about? A Korean deer?
People online were like, there's a Korean deer.
Oh, I got tagged. Oh, I got tagged.
This looks like Bobby.
Yeah. It does look like you. It looks exactly fucking like you.
And then I posted on my story, and I got more comments than I've ever had. Everyone going 100% yes.
You 100% look like this.
Okay. I don't know who the fuck. Okay, I don't know who the fuck did that. Did you do that, Carlos?
Phenomenal.
Somebody did that.
That's so good.
That's so fucking funny.
That's you, dude.
This whole fucking
was so stinky funny. Korean deer. That's hilarious. Oh man. All right. This next one is courtesy of Alden. Made myself a ghillie suit for when World War III starts and I have to be near Seattle.
All right.
Yes.
That is such a good suit. Whoever did
I used to live out there. I can tell you that ghillie suit would work. Yeah.
Do you have a bullet so y'all can see this?
I think that's a franchise right there.
So good. All right, another comedian.
It's a Call of Duty game next. Yeah.
This is also courtesy of Alden, I believe.
I was born and raised in France. But my parents come from another romantic country, Iran. That's the thing in America. People have the wrong idea about Iran. So tonight, I would like to play a melody that really shows the relationship between America and Iran, because I think that one day we can live in peace. I call this the American-Iran Concerto. If you want to download this music, it's on CNN.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was so good.
That one.
All
got
right,
me, man.
Final one for tonight is, I think, courtesy of Mr. Nick Ciesielski. There you go.
You feel rejected by society.
Bro, can hear the colors. Bro, you just too loud, bro. Time is growing and hear me out, bro. Before somebody said, bro. Lose before they spread it, bro. I'm all ears, bro. Move out of the way, I can't hear, bro. Always hear you. Bro, and dear, bro. Listening, bro, takes his ear wax up with the spoon. And whisper around, bro. Bro, can't hear the earth move. Now somebody using bro to hear any incoming cribs. One clock is done, bro. Never says, can you repeat? Bro's gotta fly away, my land's overheard Victoria's Secret. Bro, can hear the silence, no alarm clock needed. Bro, can hear the sunrise. Bro, can hear back in time. Bro, can hear the comments, don't listen to the hate, keep it up. He can hear you, leave some sound for the rest of us.
I've been seeing more and more of these where they make the comments into a song with
They're
that.
so good.
Some other ones. It's hilarious.
The songs where they use it like a full chorus are the best ones. Yeah, because they make it feel far more epic and fun, and it's not as awkward listening to them on shows like this.
I've heard tons of like AI death metal songs where it's just names of cheeses.
Cheeses?
I've heard more of those than I care to admit.
All right, y'all. Well, that'll do it for this episode. Thank y'all for tuning in, sticking around till the end. Go to peacefulc.network, join the Dollar Media Club, and come hang out with us in the Discord. Chat with us. We have a great time in there, and you can give us stories. We're going to start having Discord-only shows at some point. We're also going to do another Twitter Spaces at some point in the very near future. We only have done one of those, and it went mediocrely. It wasn't the best thing we've ever done. We're also going to be releasing some more Pants Drunk episodes, as well as Cascade Effect Q&A sessions, and then we're going to be adding more documentaries and movies that you can stream only through the Peaceful Sea Network. Nick and Gnome might be on there. We'll see what happens. But we're definitely going to have a Bitcoin show coming out at some point, courtesy of Mr. Nick Ciesielski, I believe. Is that what's going to happen?
That I've got a couple of things. Let's talk now that I'm kind of not sick anymore. So
that sounds good. All right, y'all. Tune in to Banished Big Brother on Mondays, Free Georgia Podcast on Mondays, Wrexham Texan on Sundays, and Cascade Effect every 3 to 6 weeks, depending on my workload. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Sensations, 8 p.m. we rise again. Join the crew.